Alright. How's it going, guys? Um, so I just got home from work and I've been thinking, which I usually don't do because I distract myself with YouTube videos while I work. Keep my mind going, keep me from overthinking stuff. I ran out of YouTube videos to watch, so I started listening to music. While while I was listening to music, I started thinking back on how I ended up where I'm at and my mistakes. When something really emotional happens in your life, it feels like your world is crumbling down. Even though it feels like your whole life just came to a halt, nobody else's does. Everybody's lives still move on. And if you don't pick yourself back up, you kind of just get left in the dust. Um, and when you stop reaching out, when you isolate yourselves, when you just let yourself fall, you get left behind. 8 years ago, I graduated high school. I was the only person in my entire high school who said they did not want to graduate. They were not ready to be adults because I knew an adult responsibilities. I didn't want to deal with responsibilities. I would have anyway, but you know, that's just kind of who I was. And in high school was my last serious relationship. I had a girlfriend who I was kind of off and on, mostly on with. We had like two different like month breaks for over a 2 year period. And I'll admit, I'm clingy and obsessive. And I was ready to commit my whole life to this girl. But our one day I find out that she's been talking to another guy, one of our other friends, behind my back. And immediately after, when I found out about this, she asked if we could take a break. Of course, I already knew what that meant, and it devastated. I had meltdowns for like almost the entirety of senior year. I was a little fucking bitch, but I couldn't help it. It fucking hurt. I've had girlfriends before, but I was never mature enough to really handle a relationship. So this was like my first serious relationship, and it devastated. Of course, it didn't end there because she wanted to stay friends, and I was stupid. Listen, tip for anybody out there: if your relationship doesn't end mutually and they ask to stay friends, don't. You will only do more harm to yourself. But I did, and we still talk, and I hung on to hope that maybe one day, a year later, the guy she left me for broke up with her. And my stupid idiot self thought I might have a chance. I went and I hung out with her. I took her to get lunch, and I was invited to go to a county fair with her and her friend. I really thought I had another opportunity, but halfway through the fair, we ended up meeting up with two other guys. She was all over, and it just broke me again. I know it's my own fault. I'm an idiot for even, but it happened. I spent so much of that latter half of that fair literally rubbing the side of my thumb with my fingernail, scratching the side of my thumb until I had blisters on both my thumbs. I left that. I told her I couldn't be friends anymore. She apparently was really upset that I didn't want to be friends with her anymore. And I shut down. I stopped reaching out to people. I isolated myself, and I kind of screwed myself. I never picked myself back up, and everybody moved on without me. Now I'm socially awkward. I don't got any social skills. I don't got any stories to tell. I barely leave the house. A lot of people say being independent is like freedom. Living on your own is freedom. But for someone like me, that's not always a good thing. When the only person you're accountable to is yourself in an emotional state like that, a normal person would know, like, hey, I gotta take a shower at least every other day, and they'd have a routine to do that. They'd done. But a person in the situation I was in, I sit there and I look at it as, well, I'm not planning on going anywhere. The only person who has to deal with it is myself. Do I really care? And a few years later, here I am, 80 pounds heavier than what I used to be, struggling to take care of myself. Sink full of dishes, apartment's a bit of a mess. It's a lot cleaner than it used to be, but could be cleaner. I have my moments, like last week, I went and cleaned my bed. My bedroom was a disaster. There was clothes literally all over the floor. You couldn't see the floor. Things were just everywhere. And I spent the entire day cleaning up my bedroom. And honestly, I felt so proud of myself. So nice having a good bedroom. Then I told myself when I finished, well, I did a good job and I can take a break. I'll do the rest of my apartment tomorrow. But if anybody knows how stuff goes with people who have issues like me, tomorrow came and I never got around to it. Once you've already isolated yourself and developed bad habits, it's hard to, like, it's easy to say, just pull yourself together. You just gotta start doing things. You just gotta go take a shower. You just gotta start brushing your teeth. You gotta cook yourself dinner, one step at a time. But when you've spent years stewing in these bad habits, one step can feel like a mountain, climbing a mountain. Reminding myself to take a shower every day and not fall back into the same loop of, well, the only person who has to deal with it is me, so why do I care? Just trying to stave off that mindset once I've been in it for so long. It's so difficult. I want to get better. I do. I could always go talk to a therapist or something, but I don't even know how to go about doing that. And even if I did, even if I got diagnosis isn't going to change anything. I still have to put in the work. I still have to change to make myself better. Sometimes it's just so hard. I'll have days here and there, maybe even a week, where I feel like I have all the motivation in the world. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna make my life better. A few days later, it's just I'm right back where I was, back to square one, feeling sometimes even worse. I don't know. Just I do want to do better. But I gotta keep trying one step at a time until I finally make it work. When the only person I'm accountable to is myself, it's hard to hold myself accountable. If so, anybody else out there, if you've recently been through something devastating, something that shatters your entire world, makes you feel hopeless, don't wait. Talk to someone, find something. You gotta fix yourself quick before it sets in too. Because once you let it set in, it's really hard to climb. Now, I've got to prepare because I'm trying to take another step. I'll I might let you guys know how it goes next week. Maybe in a few days, whenever I decide to upload another video, I'll let y'all know. Till then, I'll see y'all.